Hello, beautiful souls, and thanks so much for tuning in today. My name is Luca, AM Astar, and welcome to 𝑇�Star. So first of all, I want to thank all the beautiful comments. I want to thank all your beautiful contributions, and it makes me super inspired to read through the comments and to see your engagement, and I'm super grateful for your presence. I'm super honored to be channeling these messages for you. And today I am especially excited. I'm always excited for my readings, but this time I'm super excited because today I wanted to try something a little bit different. So today we are going to be channeling memories from Atlantis. And I'm going to be sharing why I feel this is very important when we are talking about our healing process. Because as a healing practitioner, I have come to learn that healing goes beyond doing, let's say, shadow work, doing maybe yoga or breath work or activation work. Like, healing is a multidimensional process. And one part of healing is actually healing our history, or healing Earth's history, remembering our true origins and remembering the true history of our civilization and the true origins of humanity. And this is where the story of Atlantis comes in. And many souls who have incarnated in this moment right now, they're actually beings who were living in Atlantis and right now have reincarnated to close a long ancient cycle. So if you feel connected to Atlantis, or if you're interested to learn more about Atlantis, this could be very much the reason why you have been drawn to this reading today. But the main intention of this reading is to channel galactic history or Earth history of Atlantis, and this knowledge is helping us in our healing process in this moment. Because again, the healing that is happens on a multidimensional level, and we need to remember some parts of Atlantis in order to be able to fully heal. So that's the intention of this reading, basically to hopefully be able to uncover or remember past memories of Atlantis. So enough talking, let's dive right in. So as you can see, today we have 3 piles to choose from. Pile number 1 is blessings beyond the soul path. Pile number 2 is divine cosmic mother womb. And last but not least, we have crystal child. So see which pile, which cards draw you in. This is a general reading, so it could very well be that there are messages for you in every 3 piles, especially since today we're going to be uncovering memories from Atlantis. So there could very well be messages for you in all 3 piles, or whichever pile you feel most drawn to. And as usual, you will find the timestamps in the description box, and I'm going to be seeing you in your reading. Hello, beautiful soul. So this is your reading if you have chosen blessing beyond the soul path. And straight away, as I'm looking at this card, I am really being taken to the beginnings of Atlantis. Because when we talk about Atlantis, it is not only the story of Plato that most people know of. Because that version of Atlantis that most people know about, then we're talking about the very last days of Atlantis. This is very much in the recent history, or let's say before the recorded history that we know of, roughly about 12,000 to 13,000 years ago, when the great deluge happened, the great flood happened, and the capital city of Atlantis was submerged. This is the, let's say, official story that most people know of. But when I look at this card, I am really being taken to the very early days of Atlantis. And again, when we talk about Atlantis, we're talking about the Atlantean Empire, which was a global empire. And it was much older than 13,000 years, or much older than this recent version of Atlantis that many people know of. I'm really being taken to around 200,000 to 400,000 BC, like that back. And in these times, Atlantis used to be a colony of Mu, of Lemuria. So Lemuria was one of the first civilizations on Earth, or was the first civilization on Earth, where there were, I wouldn't say physical beings, because the transition from Lemuria to Atlantis was also the transition from non-physical beings into physical beings. Because when we talk about Mu, about Lemuria, that's the Garden of Eden. And these are the times when the beings were not yet separated from the garden. And that's why the biblical stories, there are a lot of references of Adam and Eve needing to go out, or being cast out of the Garden of Eden, and then standing almost on their own. And the way my guides are teaching me, and the way I have learned through my research, is that this moment when Adam and Eve have to leave the Garden of Eden, this is the moment the beings, the spiritual beings, descended into matter. Because in Lemurian times, there were still, like the beings that were living in Lemuria, they were spiritual beings. They were ethereal beings, and they were not yet descended into physical form, or at least not as we know it today. But again, in the last days of Lemuria, in the latter days of Lemuria, and in the beginnings of Atlantis, there was the start of a new evolutionary phase. The start of a new phase where the spirit beings, the spiritual ethereal beings, descended into matter, and let's say into duality. And that's the story of having the knowledge of good and bad, of light and darkness, basically coming from oneness, from being connected with the garden, being connected with earth, being part of earth. As a spirit being, we are part of earth. We are not separated from earth. But with the beginnings of Atlantis, it was paving the way for a civilization that was present in matter, present in duality, having an experience of good and bad, of dark and light. And this is very much the, let's say, the founding stone, or the founding intention of the civilization of Atlantis. Because on a cosmic level, the experiment of Atlantis was to see if beings were able, how beings were able to evolve, taking the principles of the higher dimensions, the blueprints and the patterns that have worked in higher dimensions, and apply them in this third dimension. At the time, the earth was still existing in a fifth dimensional vibration, so it was more ethereal than right now. But ultimately, the experiment was to see how these blueprints, these higher dimensional blueprints, would work in this lower dimensional sphere. And that's why Atlantis and Lemuria, we remember these places as places of magic, because all the beings who have been incarnating in these times, in these realms, they were literal magicians. And these are the stories of Merlin, of all the magicians that were living hundreds of years, like even decades, like the immortals. All these beings who were, yes, they were physical, but the veil between physical and spiritual, it was much thinner in these times. That's why people were able to connect with mystical creatures. And these are actually the times where all these myths come from, where the people were much more attuned to the magic of being much more connected with spirit, much more connected with the land, much more connected with the patterns. I'm really being taken to the interconnectedness with all that is, the interconnectedness with source, and all these ceremonies, all these rituals, they all come from these times where people were much more connected with spirit and much more attuned to the magic that is around us and within us. And I'm really being taken like there in this reading there is an emphasis on the beginnings of Atlantis, and I'm really being made to feel how this situation applies to this present situation. Because when we talk about past lifetimes, when we talk about ancient civilizations, everything that happened before, it's good to look into these things, but we always want to relate it back to our present situation, because only then is it really helpful for us to look into these things. Because we want to understand our past in order to understand our present, and so that we are able to know where we are going. Because when we don't know where we come from, we don't really know who we are, and then obviously we don't really know where we are going. That's why I feel it's so important to connect with our ancient origins, to connect with that initial intention of why human beings were created in the first place. Because then, only then, we can have a truer understanding of who we are. And once we know who we are, we can better understand where we are going. And again, I feel the focus in this reading is reconnecting back with the initial intention of why we came here. But not why we came here only in this lifetime, but why we came here as humanity. Since you have been called to this reading, you very well have been incarnated in, there is a high probability that you have been incarnated in Lemuria or in Atlantean times. And it's about remembering that initial intention of why the Earth experiment took place, why we incarnated as spirit beings in this Earth garden, and what's the main intention behind this. One of the main intentions at the time was to see if we were able to exist in duality or in this higher density while still applying the magic and the principles of the higher dimensions. And as we've seen throughout the whole history of Atlantis, the plan was, it was not as, I wouldn't say it was not as intended, because it happened exactly as it should be. But there was one part in history, one chapter in history, where these principles were not working out as intended. And the people were starting to abuse this mystical knowledge and this mystical power. But I'm really being more so, instead of focusing on that part, I'm really being taken at the early ages of, basically at the transition between Lemuria and Atlantis, when the empire of Lemuria created this new colony of Atlantis. Obviously at this time it was called differently, but it was the colony of Lemuria which then later gained independence, and it later became the Atlantean Empire that basically tried to rule over the whole world. But there is something about these early days. I'm really more so being taken to this Lemurian energy. So there is definitely something about that, some activation also happening. And for some reason I'm really being taken to the area of New Zealand, Hawaii, the Polynesian Islands, basically where the stories tell that the Lemurian continent has been lying, but actually it was much bigger. It was not only that region of the Pacific, but also of the Indian Ocean, parts of Indonesia and Japan. Like, it was obviously at that time the geography was much different. but I'm really being told that in order to connect back to that soul memory, to that soul essence, you may feel called to, yes, this region of the Pacific Ocean. I'm also being taken to Peru and the Easter Islands, also Mount Shasta, like the whole west coast of America, of USA, but also the whole Pacific region, Hawaii, the Polynesian Islands. I'm being told when you're traveling there, or you have already been traveling there, this is where you are recollecting these codes of remembrance. And it has to do, like you were in some way involved in this seeding of Atlantis, like these very early days of Atlantis. This transition almost from this ethereal place into a more physical, condensed place, where then people for the first time had a real ego in that sense, a real sense of self as individual beings. So there is also something about, individuality. But let's see what this is about. I have already shuffled the cards, and let's see what we have. We have the 7 of Cups. We have the 6 of Cups. Then we have Justice in reversed. Then we have the 3 of Wands. Beautiful. Then we have the 7 of Swords in reversed. Okay, I see where this is going. Didn't I have more cards? Yes. 6 of Wands in reversed. There we go. The 8 of Swords. And we have the Universe. Beautiful. Okay. So we are channeling memories from Atlantis that are serving your activation and healing path in this present moment. And as I'm looking at the cards, I'm really being taken to almost this pain. I'm really being made to feel this pain of not being able to embody the magic as it used to be in ancient times. I'm really seeing this, I'm being shown this female energy. It's a shaman, like a very wise woman, but I'm more so being taken at these Lemurian times, and it's really almost not being able to embody that essence, not being able to be that shaman, not being able to be that wise woman, because I'm really being taken to the times where in Lemuria, and it's hard to say because it's not that there was gender as female or male. It's more this androgynous light being, but the function, this androgynous non-gendered light being, is serving the way this being is serving the community is through the divine feminine energy. So I'm really being made to feel this channeling these higher dimensional codes from Venus, from the stars, and almost transmitting them to the people in the way of light language channeling, in the way of transmitting these codes, but it happens almost telepathically. And I'm really being made to feel this pain of lifetimes not being able to embody this essence, because I'm really being taken to the energy of Virgo and the energy of Venus. That's the energy of the muse, being this inspirational muse. I'm being taken to great work. You have been active in Lemurian times to basically channel light codes from the stars and almost weaving them into the ley lines and the grid lines of Earth. It's almost grid work, like maintenance of the crystalline grid of Earth. And I'm really being taken to the recent past. With this card, I'm being made to feel these medieval times, these dark ages, where, yes, a long period of not being able to embody your soul's gifts. And obviously this has to do with healing the human collective on a collective level. Because again, in these times, in early Lemurian times or early Atlantean times, the consciousness was at its highest. And all the beings that were connected to Source, all the beings were seeing themselves as children of Source. We were literally living in this Garden of Eden, where all the chakras were opened and aligned, where we were, almost co-creating, weaving this crystalline web of Gaia. Like we were literally the gardeners in these times. Like we were co-creators. Like we still are. But in these times we were much more aware of our magical powers, of our magical abilities. And I'm really being taken to, almost this time where we were not able to embody this truth, because the eons after that, I'm being also taken after the fall of Atlantis. So the recent history, or the history that we've learned, the, let's say, mainstream history, this is actually the dark age, where people were much more not so much connected with spirit and much more following these imposed rules of society, and this where truth was distorted. There is a distortion of truth, or almost not being able to embody that initial truth of who you are on a soul level. Because I'm really being taken to this magical, mystical being who were so in tune, like so joyful, playing in this garden, being part of literally feeling heaven on earth, but then having to go through this period of darkness, having to go through this period of needing to hide. Not being able to speak up, not being able to express one's truth in order to be safe, in order to maybe not be persecuted, in order to almost drink from the poison. I'm really being taken. There is this scene in Harry Potter where Dumbledore has to drink this poison. I think it's in the 6th movie, and Harry needs to feed him this poison, and Dumbledore is there suffering, and he's like saying, please end me, please, I cannot bear the pain, I cannot do this anymore. But Harry says, you told me to do this. Like there is this feeling of almost needing to drink that poison, and it was hurtful for yourself. Your guides knew that it was a challenging experience. It's almost like having to bear the pain of drinking that poison. But what I'm being told, that this was a crucial step in order to find this gem, because in the end, when Dumbledore drinks all the poison, then this Horcrux is released, and then it's basically helping Harry with his mission. Like this is a crucial step in your soul path. This is a crucial step of being able to heal all this generational trauma, because with the 6 of Cups, it's again this past energy, being able to transmute this darkness and turn it into light. Because again, as I mentioned before, like during these times, the consciousness was at its highest, and then we go down into periods where there is darkness, where people are not connected with spirit. But then we go up again, and then there is again this reawakening and this re-emerging of consciousness. But in order for this re-emergence to happen, there needs to be the transmutation and the releasing of these shadow patterns. And this is one of the reasons also why we decided to come here. Because again, going back to that initial intention of why we incarnated in this realm is also to experience duality. It's also to see what it means to be in this perceived separation from Source, so that we can also master the shadow, so that we're not only mastering the light but also mastering the shadow. But in order to master the shadow, we first have to go through the shadow. We first have to drink the poison. We have to go through the pain, and only then this gem, this new level, is being released or unlocked so that we can move forward. And it has to do something with success. With the Six of Wands, it's always success, but since it's in reverse, it's about the inner success, like you being successfully able to transmute this shadow and bring back the light again, but in a way that it's much stronger than before. Because in these times we were connected, we were basically in the Garden of Eden. But right now, as we have gone through this separation from the garden, through this pain, through these challenges, and now going back again into this energy, but with all this wisdom that we have gathered from this separation, then we're coming back in a completely new way, where we are really putting things upside down, like we are writing the rules of what it means to be a creator being in this realm. Like we're changing the rules of what it means to use our magic in this realm. But it's in a completely new way, because again, in early Atlantean times we were instructed how to use our mystical powers. We were instructed how to work with the telluric forces, with the energy forces. But in these times that we're living in right now, it has so much to do with us remembering all these things that already went on in ancient times. So it's really less of a mastery, like less needing to master, but already remembering that we are masters already. Like we have acquired these abilities in past lifetimes. We have really been channeling, like I'm really being taken to this Scorpio energy with the past energy, like this Scorpio, this magical, mystical, deep, occult wisdom, knowledge, vibrancy. We have, like, this is who we are on a soul level, and we have acquired this already in all these cycles of incarnation. And yeah, it's really about bringing it back, but it happens by remembering, by connecting back with that energy of Virgo, the energy of a muse. I'm also being taken to the High Priestess, channeling the sun, and this is actually the symbol of the upraised arms. I don't know, I should maybe cover this. Symbol of the upraised arms, and being able to channel these codes and these frequencies from the sun, from source, and thus reawakening these remembrances, reawakening our truth. Again, remembering that we already are masters, that we already have been practicing all this magic in ancient times. And this is what allows us to let go of all these perceived limitations, of all these roadblocks, and literally allowing the magic to unfold, allowing this expansion to take place, also with Jupiter energy. This expansion that happens by removing all these perceived limitations or all these ancestral thought patterns. And yeah, I'm really being made to feel that you have been working a lot on releasing generational trauma, on releasing the karma of Earth with this card, so that Earth can finally rise in frequency, and we can all collectively bring in this energy again. But this time, when we are bringing in this energy, but with all the wisdom that we have gathered, just imagine the explosion of magic and of joy. Like, we're really creating something that has never been created before. And with the Three of Wands, we all contribute with our creations, basically. There is a big emphasis on creation. Also the number 3. Maybe your life path is number 3. I'm also being taken to Virgo North Node, life path number 9, 3, and 7. So there is this big focus on closing cycles, creating something new, embodying your wisdom, and really paving. I'm really hearing paving the way, paving the path for a new dimension, a new almost opening a portal for a new reality to come through. And again, working again with the energies of the earth, with the telluric forces, with the dragon lines, with the Kundalini, because again, we were so much attuned to these subtle forces in the ancient times, but we're bringing this back. but this time we are in a human vessel, and we have acquired so much knowledge through these eons of darkness. And yeah, there is really this sense of a new chapter, finding accomplishment, releasing all these restrictions, and paving the way for a new reality. And before I continue, I'm being guided to pull some oracle cards. Or no, actually I use some of these, and we're channeling memories from Atlantis that are helping us in our present moment. Activation, healing, remembrance, connecting to our ancient past. Okay. So we have the pineapple. I'm being taken to SpongeBob for some reason. We'll see what this is about. Cat. Then we have the musketeer. Then we have the Bedouin. Beautiful. And we have the peacock. So yeah, I keep on being taken to SpongeBob. So that's probably that has something to do with the message, because SpongeBob lives in a pineapple. Yeah, there is something about the sponge coming through. There is almost this feeling of you acting as a sponge, almost absorbing all the darkness, almost transmuting so much of dark energies. But I'm more so being taken to past lifetimes, almost you taking on, I'm really being taken to the witch trials. Maybe you have been taking on a responsibility, taking on the guilt of something in order to protect your family, in order to keep your family safe. It's almost like being almost sacrificing yourself in order to help others. Really this sense of this sponge, in the sense of absorbing negative energies. Almost this feeling of needing to hide your truth in order to feel safe, providing safety for your community in some way. But I'm really being told that this time is over now. This cycle is over now with the 10. Like you have gone through the lessons you needed to learn. You have drunk the poison, and right now it's about embodying this energy of this wise priestess, high priestess, wizard, woman, magic, medicine, healing woman, but in a very confident way. But confidence that comes through gentleness. That's the energy of a cat. Because cats, they know that they are the queens. They know that they are the kings. They know that they are the most beautiful beings in the room. And there is this beautiful confidence to them, but at the same time this beautiful gentleness. Like they are, they know that they sit on the throne, but then at the same time they're like laying there and asking for cuddles and being sweet. And it's exactly about embodying this energy, but in this super gentle and loving way. And since this is centering your reading, the cycle is over now. It's okay to show up in this essence again. It's okay to shine that light again. It's okay to be... I'm really being taken to the story of the 3 musketeers, where I'm saying 3 musketeers, but I know that there are 4. So there is this feeling of, almost you coming in as a main character that nobody thought it would be part of the whole thing. Because there is this focus on there being 3 musketeers, and many people know them. But there is almost this 4th musketeer coming in, and that's you, and basically saying like, hello, I'm here as well. I'm no longer hiding. This cycle is over, and I'm here unleashing my magic. I'm here unleashing my power. Because there is this feeling of you being almost like this Bedouin, being in the desert for a very long time, on a long journey on your own, maybe having to go, or maybe you were going through this many lifetimes of being a hermit, many lifetimes of hiding yourself, literally being in the desert, where you couldn't unleash your magic, where you couldn't show up for this magical, beautiful, mystical being that you are. And being in the desert is this feeling of things being dry and almost harsh and devoid of lushness and beauty, but you making it through this journey, you making it safely to this oasis again, where there are palms and when there is water and where there is a camp, and you being able to finally, not settle down, but to finally unleash your wisdom, to show your true colors to the world. And again, showing your colors, showing all the facets that you are, showing the variety of skills that you have, the variety of knowledge that you have acquired in ancient times. And I'm really being taken to the 7. So life path 7 could be significant for you. But there is really this feeling of showing your magic, showing your colors after this long journey in the desert, after this long journey of maybe being disconnected to the lushness of life, being disconnected to maybe your more feminine and watery, mystical, magical aspect, because maybe in your previous lifetimes there was more a focus on taking action, being in this more masculine and fiery energy. But right now it's about bringing back this feminine energy, unleashing your magic, showing your colors, and such a beautiful energy. I'm really being taken to my oracle cards to finish this reading, and we are channeling guidance and messages, memories from Atlantis, 1, 2, and 3. And we have multidimensional, yes, multiple dimension, timelines, be you. Don't even try to fit in. Love it. That's exactly the energy. Maybe you have had to go through these periods of needing to fit in, needing to shun your light, needing to hide your light, needing to be behind the veil, being in this almost taking a step back. But right now it's really about releasing this fear of hiding, releasing this fear of being persecuted or needing to step back, because right now what the earth needs most in this present moment is for us to embody our multidimensionality, for us to realize that we are these multidimensional beings, and it's okay to be unique. It's okay not needing to fit in. It's okay to be this beautiful, magical, mystical being, and don't even try to fit in. It's about your quirkiness, your uniqueness. That's exactly what is most needed right now, because this is paving the way for this new dimension, for this new reality, for this new universe, literally, this new way of this new Lemuria, this new Atlantis, this reawakening of our multidimensionality, but again in a way like it has never been before. Because in these times we were multidimensional beings, but we were ethereal beings. But right now we have gone through being physical and grounding that multidimensionality with all this wisdom acquired through this perceived separation, like unbelievable. And that's why keep on being weird. I'm not saying weird, but keep on being unique, keep on being that magical, mystical being that you are. And I'm really being taken also to the dolphins. Unleash your magic, unleash your potential. I'm being taken to also soulmate relationships with this card, sharing space, but more so sharing your uniqueness with others, sharing your exactly that ancient vibe, exactly that starseed light worker, that feeling, expressing it. And this is paving the way for relationships that are vibrating on that same wavelength. Really this strong feeling of co-creation, communing, creating community. And when you unleash that multidimensionality, that magic, it's really you see yourself immersed in this garden again, and this garden is unfolding from within. Like it starts from our heart, and it's almost like this flower that is expanding and expanding, creating maybe the space in a relationship, and then expanding that space to a larger community. Almost this flower that starts from the heart and it's continuously expanding, expanding, expanding until the whole world, until the whole universe is engulfed in this magical vibration that comes from the heart. And the last card that we have is Joy of Life. What a beautiful message. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the rain is coming, so that's always a sign of blessings from the universe, a sign of the waters flowing, the pleasures flowing, the birds singing, and finally this light coming back. Finally, like, we've made it through this cycle. So there is really this big feeling of closing cycles with the 10th entering your reading, closing cycles, and yeah, bringing these ancient times back. And then let's say the mission is over, then we can decide if we want to stay here and experience new Atlantis or new Lemuria, or to go to another planet or to another dimension. But there is really this sense of, yes, trust, open your hands, shake it out, let go. Now is the time to be receptive for these blessings. Now is the time to be rewarded for the job made, done greatly. Like, this is really the last step of this huge karmic cycle that literally started at least 200,000 years ago, if not even more. Like, I'm really being taken to this cycle that started with the creation of Atlantis, and we incarnating again in these times. It's for us to close this cycle once for all. And that's why so many of the beings who have been living in Lemuria and in Atlantis, they are present in this lifetime right now, because yeah, before we go back, before we transcend to the higher spheres, we have to close the cycle. We have to do the mission. We have to close these cycles of incarnations that we have signed up to experience. But right now it's, yeah, we made it basically. Joy of life. Like, it's okay to let go, it's okay to open up. And what a beautiful energy. I'm really seeing this stream of golden blessings flowing in, and really, like, the times are getting so much easier from now on. Like, we have drank the poison, and we basically right now it's just about letting go of these last little remnants of these times, because the energy is not even present anymore. The earth has already ascended, like, the vibration is already higher. Like, the nature spirits and all these beings and the cosmic beings, like, they already are experiencing earth in this higher dimension. We just have to follow up and embody that energy, and the last bits and pieces are really these ripples of these last ancient times, like these last bits of these ancient cycles. And once they are felt, once they are over, once they are released, then it's literally this energy, joy for life, and for not just for ourselves, but for the whole universe, for the whole human collective. And it's really, we're here to bring back the ancient times. What a beautiful energy. And thank you so much for allowing me to channel this energy. I absolutely love to tune in to Lemuria and Atlantis, and yeah, I really hope you resonated with the messages. Please let me know in the comments if you did. And I'm also offering personal readings, so if you feel called to book a personal reading, you can always reach out to me. And I'm wishing you a very beautiful day, night, evening, whenever you're watching, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Thanks so much for watching. Hello, beautiful souls. So this is your reading if you have chosen the Divine Cosmic Mother Womb. And straight away, as I'm looking at this card, I am really being taken to the golden age of Atlantis. And again, I have already mentioned it in the first pile. So when we talk about Atlantis, I am not referring to the, let's say, the story of Plato, because this is actually the very last days of Atlantis. Like, we're really talking about the times of the Great Flood, the story of Plato, where, yeah, the island of Poseidonis has been submerged beneath the waves of the ocean. Like, this is, let's say, the official version of Atlantis, or the Atlantis most people know of. But with this card, I'm really being taken to the times of not early Atlantis, but almost in the middle. So there is this sense that people were already in duality. People were already, I'm really being taken to physical beings, but it's still the golden ages, in the sense that these are the times where the extraterrestrial beings or the star beings were living on Earth. Like these are the times when the gods were walking with humans on Earth, and the gods obviously refer to higher dimensional beings, where people were they were in form, they were gendered, there were women and men. So it was really the golden ages of Atlantis, but at times where the consciousness was really high. There was this golden consciousness, like when we are looking at the yugas, it's actually, I'm being taken from the transition between the golden age and the silver age. Because the golden age, that's really this frequency of Lemuria, the frequency of the Garden of Eden, the frequency of being connected, literally being inside the womb of the mother. But here specifically, I'm being taken to us being already outside of the womb, us not being part of the Garden Eden anymore, but already being in Atlantis, already being in duality, already being in perceived separation from each other and from source, but still being in this higher dimensional energy, this fifth dimensional energy, where we were able to interact with mystical creatures and with star beings. And there is also this feeling of counsel coming through. So there is some connection between you and a cosmic council. So you either were working literally as a channel or a priest or a teacher or a healing practitioner, because there is something about being in contact with star beings, almost this cosmic council and this galactic council, something about exchanging information, because we are outside of the womb, but we're still talking about the energy of being in the womb. So there is this parallel between being connected through the umbilical cord to the heart of the mother, and almost channeling this information and transmitting it to the collective. So that's why there is this feeling of being a teacher or a priest or transmitting some sort of knowledge. But it's really the times, the golden era of Atlantis, where I'm also being taken to the age of Leo, which is obviously more leaning towards the end of Atlantis. These are the times when the Sphinx has been built. We're talking about around 40,000 years ago, 40,000. But still, there were times when the consciousness was even higher. So I'm really being taken to these times, the golden age, but also the age of Leo. There is also something about this golden Leo energy coming through. Sekhmet could also be relevant for some of you. There is really this feeling of this golden mother, because Sekhmet, she is a warrior. She is the fierceful warrioress, like she is the very much the Kali energy, the destructive energy, but it's destruction that leads to creation. It's this ending of a cycle to start a new one. So there is also something about cycles. So you could literally have been incarnated on the cusp between the age of Virgo and the age of Leo. Again, that's the time when the Sphinx has been built. But something about being incarnated on the cusp, or something about ending cycles, because I'm really also being taken to the spiral of life. You also working closely with the spiral of life. So I'm also being taken to sacred geometry. I'm also being taken to architecture, but it more so feels like temple architecture, where it's more about the sacred geometry magical part rather than the architecture itself. Like there is something about almost you talking to the spiral of life or of creation, and channeling the information how to apply these principles into the architecture or into the community or into the surrounding. It can be physical, but it can also be spiritual. That's why, again, the energy of a teacher. But there is something about working with the spiral of creation, with the spiral of life. And I'm really being told that this is very relevant for you right now. Because again, I've also already mentioned it in the first pile. So when we are connecting to past lifetimes, or when we are trying to channel specific information from Atlantis or Lemuria, it's always important to be able to relate this back to this present moment, because we are wanting to understand our past, to understand where we come from, so that we are better able to understand who we are in this present moment, and so that we know where we are going in the future. So there is really this invitation of almost, yes, you are, it's an invitation to connect back to the womb of the mother, to feel yourself as though you were inside the cosmic womb, even though you are. We all are at all times. But it's really about reconnecting back to that frequency of the golden era of Atlantis, where all these beings were so much more attuned to the spiral of life, to spirit, to the cosmic mother, to this golden enlightened Leoness energy. And with Sekhmet coming through, it's this destructive energy but this healing energy at the same time. You being some sort of a caretaker, some sort of a, this mother principle is very strong in this reading. And reconnecting back with that essence, with that golden lioness energy. And Sekhmet is a healer, but she is also able to protect their children. Like, it's about knowing when to be assertive, but also knowing when to be gentle, knowing when to set boundaries, but also knowing when it's good to fall back, knowing when we need to be actively initiating something, and knowing when it's about allowing the Divine Mother to take over. So really, again, finding this balance between the polarities, and in this golden middle, fully attuning to the spiral of life, where we are not completely passive and not too active, and really in flow, so that we can create literal magic. And this is this golden frequency of Atlantis, where we were so attuned, so we knew exactly what we needed to do, at what time, in which direction, with which tools, like how to invoke specific energies. And by connecting back to that remembrance, you know how to apply this wisdom or these practices in this present moment, because this is what we most need right now to remember. I'm really being taken here to all is well, rest now, that it's okay for us to also be nurtured sometimes and to fall back, and needing to manifest things, needing to follow our mission of healing and all of that, but also knowing how important it is to see the beauty in life, and to also look at this process from another perspective, almost looking at the multidimensional perspective of what healing means. Healing does not only mean shadow work or doing like deep spiritual work, but it's literally being inspired by art and by the ancient stories, and remembering these times that were so much more pristine. Like, healing has so much to do actually with being creative and allowing ourselves to read a book, to watch a movie, to reconnect with this magical frequency, to literally do what makes us happy, because this is how healing then can unfold. It's not only about doing the more practical work, but it's about a lot also about the imagination and the dream realm, strong dream energy also coming through. But let's see what this is about. I already love where this is going. So I have already shuffled the cards, and we are channeling memories from Atlantis, memories that are helping us in our current present moment. And we have the Ace of Coins, beautiful, new beginnings. The Ace of Wands in reversed, okay. The Emperor, beautiful. Then we have death in reversed, okay. Four of Cups. Prince of Scepters. And as I looked at the recording time, I saw 11:11, so there is something about that which is very significant. Three of Scepters, okay. Nine of Pentacles, oh, and another one as well. Eight of Cups, okay. We're channeling memories from Atlantis. Yeah, I'm really being taken to the Ace of Wands, where there is this feeling of knowing the importance of non-action, knowing the importance of not always needing to be in control, not always needing to initiate things. Because with the Prince of Scepters, I'm really being taken to a literal prince, a literal royalty in ancient times. I'm being taken to Sumerian times. I'm also being taken to the Canaanite, Phoenicians, Canaanite, I don't know how, yeah, Canaanites, I think. It's the area of Syria, the Middle East, that whole area. I'm also being taken to Southeast Asia, Thailand, Indonesia, that whole region. And all of these obviously are also colonies of Atlantis. Because during the golden ages of Atlantis, Atlantis was a global empire, but it was still coexisting with Lemuria. So some colonies were Lemurian colonies, and other colonies were Atlantean colonies, but it was still coexisting in peace. Like, we're not yet talking about the times where Atlantis and Lemuria have been in war, because the war is in the later days. So there is really this emphasis on the golden ages of Atlantis, but almost I'm being made to feel this warrior energy, but not being involved in a fight. So there is this rulership energy coming through, you being in charge of a specific region, you being in charge of a specific part of a land. So there is this feudal energy coming through, this landlord kind of energy, this, literally you being in charge of a tribe. Not necessarily about the dealings of the people, but literally about the land itself. And this is where your rulership abilities come through. Like, there is a lot of Leo energy. Again, I've been feeling it already with this first card, this Sekhmet energy. And there is something in this life that has to do with stepping into this Leo energy, stepping into these leadership abilities. Because I'm really being told that on a soul level, because basically we on a soul level, we are wanting to acquire attributes of every single zodiac sign. And this is the mastery of the number 12. That's why 12 is also a number of completion, of mastery. It's the completion of the entire cycle of the zodiac signs. It's the completion of the mastery of all the attributes of the zodiac signs, like the attainment or the attunement to all the energies of the zodiac. And this is like literal mastery. And I'm being told you have mastered the aspect of Leo, this rulership aspect, in these times of Atlantis, in these golden ages where there was not yet war, but you have been very skillful in not ruling over, because ruling over is a wrong way of saying it. It's almost being that guide, that spiritual leader of that specific land, and making sure that everyone is provided for, letting go of restrictions. Through your leadership abilities, you were able to overcome perceived restrictions and providing abundance for everyone. Like, there is really this sense of being that hero, being that fiery, this hero archetype. And it's more so, I'm really being taken back to this importance of the zodiac wheel, the importance of taking a look at your birth chart and seeing, taking a look at the houses, like in which house Leo is housed, or like in which planet, like the sign and the house of Saturn and Jupiter. There's something about Saturn, Jupiter, and Leo energy coming through. And it's about reconnecting back to that aspect of yourself, knowing that you have been in this position in ancient times, and bringing back this skill, these leadership abilities that you already have within yourself. But there is also an emphasis of looking at the whole wheel of the ages of humanity, because I have mentioned the age of Leo, I have mentioned the age of Virgo, and this is maybe your invitation to also look at the zodiacal ages of humanity and to see how there is a correlation between the spiritual evolution and these cycles. So really exploring the age of Pisces. So when Christ arrived to this earth plane, it was the beginning of the age of Pisces, and that's why one of the symbols of Christ is the fish. And then when there was the dawn of the age of Leo, then the Sphinx has been built, or looking at the attributes of Virgo and understanding which energy the collective has been embodying in this specific time, because I'm being told that this helps you almost uncover these abilities that you have within yourself, like allowing you to step into these leadership abilities, this leadership position, but in this current moment, in this time right now. Because there is this strong emphasis on the Emperor energy, you writing your own rules, you literally being again almost doing what you have been doing in ancient times, but this time a bit differently, being that fiery leader, Aries energy coming through, that inspirational light, but almost being a police to everything that is not pure. You with this higher perspective, you with this knowledge, you with this wisdom. I'm really being taken to this lotus flower that is already unfolded, open crown chakra, deep spiritual wisdom. You are deeply connected to spirit. There is a deep connection to the sun. Sun worship is coming through. This was very much present in these times. So you might feel connected to cultures where sun worship is still very present. I'm taken to the Mayans and to the Egyptians, but also to the Inca of South America. And there is a feeling of you with this higher perspective. You're able to recognize everything that is not pure and almost writing new rules that are allowing this purity to unfold. Almost like, giving wings back to the crane. And the crane is the symbol of purity, of taking flight, of spiritual freedom. Like with your contribution, you're giving power to the people, and this is allowing people to have wings again, to fly again, to reconnect with spirit again, to be in that fiery energy, but to redirect that fire to spirit, to finding redirecting it to the truth. Because I'm almost being made to feel that in these times where you were living, it was still the golden age, but let's say the intention or the direction where the energy was being channeled into was slowly it was about getting more power. It was really about establishing that empire. And it's almost like you didn't know that this is where it has, like, you were not aware at that time that it was going into that direction, because again, your genuine intention was to be that leader. Your genuine intention was to provide for the community. But it's almost like there were forces above you that were slowly leading the Atlantean Empire towards being a global empire and abusing that power, like taking power away in order to establish this world government, basically. It's very much reflected to the things that are happening right now. So there is always, again, this comparison between the energy of right now, the age of Aquarius, but also the energy of how it used to be in ancient times. That's why understanding this energy from the perspective of Leo, but now understanding this energy from the perspective of Aquarius. Like you're almost doing the same thing, preventing this world government maybe to be established. But yeah, I'm being told a person like you is needed to do the job. And I don't know exactly what you're doing. You could be also active in politics, or you could be active in some sort of a humanitarian work, or you could be a CEO of a company or something like that, something where you have some sort of a power, or you're stepping in this lifetime into that position, into that Leo energy, and you have the wisdom to direct it into a situation that is for the highest benefit of all. Because you have this purity, you have this light, you know how to direct, you know how to give wings to the bird again. And you are aware of the red flags because you have experienced it in this time where it has been going, where the energy has been going into wanting control, wanting to abuse the control. So you know about the red flags, you can identify them right now. And since you have this higher perspective, since you can see this from a more elevated perspective, you're able to direct it into the path that is aligned for yourself and for the collective, the path that is for the highest benefit of everyone involved. And by doing that job, by bringing in these leadership abilities that you already have, by remembering what you have been going through in past lifetimes and embodying that aspect, you are helping in this death process. You're helping in this process where, yeah, we are once again, I'm hearing once again, turning from one age to the other. So there is really this emphasis on, I'm being made to feel you have been incarnated a lot exactly at the times when we have been shifting ages from one sign into the other sign. And welcome back. This is exactly the energy we're in right now. But again, with the Ace of Coins now going back here, there is really this emphasis of connecting to the cause, connecting to the spiritual cause, to connecting back to that main intention of why you decided on a soul level to come here. Because I'm really being made to feel that this is what is allowing you to open this treasure box, where all these gifts can be unfolding, and where everyone can see the riches that you have on a soul level. Because it's almost a feeling of first feeling a bit, I don't know, not knowing the means of connecting to this energy, not knowing the means of maybe remembering these things, or not knowing the means of how to reconnect back to that essence, how to go back to that seed of spirit, almost the seed that you have been planting before incarnating in this long cycle here on earth. So there is almost this feeling of, yeah, seeing the cup, the cup that is full, seeing the blessings in this cup, and learning how to connect back to that essence, learning how to be receptive for that coin again, knowing how to bring this coin into manifestation. But it's really the manifestation that comes from spirit, remembering how to be a bridge between this realm and the spirit realm again, because this is helping you bring more motion in your life, maybe releasing some stagnancy, or maybe releasing some, almost releasing the need of always being in control of things, always needing to act things, but almost being okay with the energy that is coming through. It's almost this feeling of thinking that we have to be active in order to reach somewhere, in order to go somewhere, and almost not allowing yourself to take a step back or to be in a more receptive mode, because you have been used to be in this fiery energy a lot. And so there is always this unconscious thought that maybe you have to be active in order to move forward. But it's almost by connecting with spirit, by connecting with that which lies behind the veil, it's helping you understand that you don't have to be active all the time, and it's okay to fall back and allowing again things to unfold naturally, and almost making peace with being more passive, making peace with being more receptive, and allowing the things to unfold. And again, finding balance in your approach, finding balance in how you initiate things, because I'm really being made to feel there is a strong fiery presence in your energy. Even if you don't have a predominance of fire in your chart, it's just your soul essence is coming through like that, this masculine energy. And it's okay to invite this divine feminine energy again, where there is this feeling of connecting back to the womb, connecting back to the times where all of this has been so effortless, where all of this where people were so much more connected with their magic, where they were so much more attuned to the cycles of nature. Like, I'm seeing this scribe that is observing the planets and writing it down and knowing exactly what to do in exactly the right time, and knowing how to get the best outcome for the community. And again, you know how this is possible. You have already done that, and now you've seen the red flags. Now you know what you have to be aware of, and you can help in this death process where we are completely releasing and letting go of all these emotional attachments and energies that are no longer serving us. Like, we no longer have to literally, I'm being taken to Sisyphus, the story where the giant has to move a boulder up the mountain, and once he's on the top, the boulder rolls down and he has to do it all over again. So there's really this story of transcending this cycle where we are working without getting anything in return. And it's almost like opening the cycle, opening this vicious circle, so that the abundance can flow in for the entire collective. And again, you have done this before. You are the one needed for this job. This is what I'm hearing. And before I continue, I'm feeling called to pull some more cards. And we are, okay, channeling, guidance, memories from Atlantis. Okay, this is too much. Oh, perfect. The first card we have is abundance. And I absolutely love this energy. That's exactly what it is. You're here to bring abundance to the community, because you have something, there is something that you know that is really helping in things that have to do with something organizational skills, how you manage resources, how you manage also human resources coming through, something about business also coming through, a very unique way how you do business. But the business that you are doing is starting with the intention to empower the clients instead of robbing money from clients. Because with that approach, you know that you're creating abundance for yourself, because you're supporting your clients instead of exploiting them. And so it's creating a win-win situation. So yes, you're helping others because you're helping others reach abundance, but in the same time you're also reaching abundance. So there is this eternal cycle of win-win situation, and it's about bringing in this expansive energy. That's why I have been called for you to check your chart and where Jupiter is placed, like the house and the sign of your Jupiter. I know you say it differently, and now I'm having like a really high-pitched tone ringing in my ears. So there is really a strong emphasis on checking your Leo placements, your Jupiter, and also the 10th house. And yeah, there is really something about this 1111, and now the ears ringing. So there is one more important message coming through. We have Rainbow Child, Unstoppable, New Earth Builder. That's exactly the energy. Multi-talented, Miraculous Alchemy. I'm really being made to feel that right now you are starting to remember exactly this. And one of the first steps is you listening to this reading, because with this high-pitched tone, and it's really that these light codes of remembrance, they are flowing into your vessel right now. And it's important for you to know that not new light codes are coming in, but it's only the light codes that are allowing your DNA to unfold in a way that these things come up spontaneously. So you don't have to learn new things, you don't have to add anything new, but it's literally this uncovering, this unfolding of who you are. And with Rainbow Child, it's literally seeing all the colors, where maybe before you only saw yourself as, I'm taking Leo as an example because there is a strong emphasis on Leo energy. Maybe you thought, oh, I'm Leo and I'm this and that. But right now you're learning that you're also Virgo and also Cancer, and actually all the signs. You are gaining mastery over the whole wheel of the zodiac, and you're understanding that you already have mastered every sign, and you have the essence of each sign within yourself. You're not just one ray, you're not just one color, but you're literally this multifaceted rainbow. You have all these aspects, and these are coming online now with this remembrance of the ancient times, with this remembrance of who you are, who you were, who you are becoming. And that's the energy of a rainbow child. The mission of rainbow children is about showing this multidimensionality, all these colors, all these facets, and bringing in this purity that we have been mentioning again. And earth and air, stabilization, physical integration, mental clearing, and creation. Beautiful. So with this card specifically, I'm really being told that this death process, because to be very honest, every single person present in this earth plane right now, we all have been going through a collective death and rebirth, a collective purging, a collective healing, and we all go through the same things, the same themes, but every person obviously has their very unique perspective on it, their very specific sets of experiences or themes. But what we have been doing on a collective level, and what's the focus right now, is really about stabilizing in this energy, like also with physical integration, almost integrating all the lessons of being incarnated in a human form. So that's why with stabilization and integration there is this feeling of not just looking at this lifetime right now, but looking at this whole period where we as spiritual beings have been incarnated as humans on earth, and almost drawing the lessons from that. And that's why this lifetime right now is so important, because we are literally drawing the parallels between air and earth, between the heavens and earth, between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. And in Lemurian times we have been these spiritual beings, where we have been more connected to spirit rather than being physical. And once Atlantis, once the eons, the times of Atlantis were starting, we then descended into matter. We then had physical vessels to navigate this earth plane. And it's almost taking all the lessons we've learned from that time, from the moment we have had physical vessels to this present moment, and almost releasing the last bits and pieces, releasing the last things which are no longer aligned to. Because we've seen the red flags, we've seen how this power can be abused, we've seen how civilizations had to end in order to bring the alignment back. But now we've learned the lessons, we've acquired, we've gone through the whole cycle, we've seen the whole revolution of all the star signs. We have been there a lot. That's why I'm being made to feel that you're an old soul. You have been here on earth for a long, long time, and repeating lessons over and over again. First Leo, then Virgo, then Cancer, then all of that. And right now it's about integrating them all, activating them all, and literally bridging earth and air, literally bringing bridging the higher realms and the physical realm, and learning to see how it is now. Because again, in Lemurian times we already have been in the Garden Eden, where we were not yet separated as such from the mother, from the cosmic mother womb. But right now, after all these cycles of being separated, we have learned so much, and it's about rediscovering ourselves in a completely new way. That's why there is a big emphasis on creating something and learning to get to know ourselves in a way that we have never done before. That's why when we talk about, when readers are telling us it's so important to get to know ourselves, or it's so important to follow our passions or to do what we love, but it's really important because we have never been in a physical vessel like this and embody such a high vibration. Like the circumstances that we find ourselves in right now, they have never been like this in this earth plane. And that's why it's so important for us to create, to experiment, to follow our passions, to rediscover who we are. Because this is what is helping not only ourselves but the entire collective, the entire universe. So part of our mission is also to embody this unique expression of who we are, to be in flow of creation. That's exactly what it is, to bring back this golden frequency, this golden Atlantis, to these golden ages, and to play with the spiral of life again, to be one with creation, to see ourselves as creation that is unfolding spontaneously and naturally, and it's showing all these facets and all this, embracing your uniqueness. That's the biggest message coming through, embracing your unique light and embracing, it's possible for us to create an environment and circumstances like the ancient times, like the times where we have already been, the times that we already have been experiencing, like literally bringing in heaven on earth again. And I'm feeling called to pull a few last cards to end this reading. And we are channeling memories from Atlantis, anything that is helping us in this present moment. Memories from Atlantis. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There we go. So we have soldier. Then we have the castle. Beautiful. And we have the pyramids. Ooh, love this energy. Okay. Looking at this card, I'm almost being made to feel that, this is a warrior, obviously, but he has an instrument and he has these flowery feathers on his helmet, and there is almost this feeling of you knowing that you are in a battlefield, you almost knowing that you are a spiritual warrior, being in this spiritual war, let's say, but it's almost you are not fighting with any weapons, you're not hurting anyone, but the way that you're fighting is by unleashing your magic, is by playing music, dancing, and almost being this rebel of, yes, I'm fighting this war, but I'm fighting this war with love. Yes, I am. There is this big emphasis of going against the norm and knowing that you're here to do something, but you're doing it your way. When you are instructed to fight, you are there playing music. There is this emphasis of also Uranus energy coming through. Uranus could also be significant, the placement of Uranus in your chart, and there is this feeling of really being playful, and with 33 it's mastery of yourself. Even if the outside world or shadows or inner voices are telling you to go this direction, you're saying, no, I'm going this way because I know what I'm doing and I know that I will be able to get the job done, but in my way of approaching things. And again, there is this big emphasis on shining that uniqueness, because again, only you are able to do the job, and this can be very specific for each and every one of you. So it's really about embracing that uniqueness and going forward with that approach. And with this approach, you are building a castle that lasts. You're building not only the foundations for something that is stable, for something that lives throughout the ages, but you're really opening the pathway for future generations with what you're doing, like with the abundance that you're bringing in, with literally you just being present in this earth plane. You are building something of substance. Strong emperor energy coming through, and you stepping into this masculine energy, but co-creating with the Divine Mother. Again, not being active all the time, but allowing the spiral of life to create through you and along with you. And this is how we really build something that is lasting. And again, what a beautiful card to end this reading. We have the Sphinx, so I've been really feeling this strong Leo energy and the Sphinx energy, really this cusp between the age of Virgo and the age of Leo. So if you feel called to look more into the Sphinx or the literal history of the pyramids, or like the ancient stories connected to the symbolism of the lion, and yes, there is an invitation to look into these things, into these teachings, these ancient stories, because that further is helping you to integrate these cycles. There is a feeling of integrating cycles, and once you are at this place where you feel aligned and stabilized, where your energy is more stable, then moving forward with creation. Or you already feel stable and you already feel inspired to move forward with creating something. But it's really about integrating all these cycles, integrating all the ages, and looking back at the correlation between the ages and the ages of humanity. So what a beautiful reading, and thank you so much for tuning into these messages, and I really hope you resonated with the messages, and please let me know in the comments if you did. And also I am offering personal readings, so if you would like to have a personal reading, you can always reach out to me on my email address. And I hope you have a beautiful day, afternoon, evening, whenever you're tuning in, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Thanks so much for watching. Hello, beautiful soul. So this is your reading if you have chosen the Crystal Child. What a beautiful energy. So straight away, as I'm looking at this card, I'm really being taken to DNA healing or DNA activation, because this is one of the main missions of crystal children. So we are talking about the crystallization of our DNA. So if you are already aware with this ascension process that is happening, so what is happening is that our vibrational frequency is increasing, so that the carbon-based atoms within our body are turning into a crystalline structure. And this was actually the main intention of the creation of human beings. And so the Homo sapiens sapiens, the human beings as we know them today, this form has been designed in Atlantean times. So the whole blueprint of how human beings, the whole vessel was designed, this happened before Atlantean times, so in the transition between Lemuria and Atlantis, when Atlantis was still a colony of Lemuria. And the intention, the original divine blueprint of humanity was to be activated with 12 strands of DNA. And after that, the intention was obviously to add more strands, so 24 strands, 46 strands. But the first intention was to have these 12 active strands. And these 12 active strands, these allowed us human beings to connect to the 12 dimensions of Source. Now obviously there are more dimensions, there are more strands of DNA, but the original intention at that time for the human being was to be this 12-dimensional being. But then obviously it has been like this for quite some time, and then we're talking really about all the period of Atlantis, which is much longer than we think. It's around 400,000 to 200,000 BC to 12,000 BC, sorry. So the very recent Atlantis that we know of, the story of the great deluge, of the great flood, of Plato's story, that's the very last, the last days of Atlantis. But when we talk about Atlantis, it's this huge empire that was present on Earth for many, many eons of time. And again, since the crystal child is coming up, there is something about, remembering the times of Atlantis, how people used to live with this activated DNA, so that we are able to bring in these codes, these light codes, and these ways of doing in this present moment. And that's pretty much the mission of a crystal child, is to bring in these crystalline frequencies. And obviously, who else to do a job like that than not someone who has been there in ancient times, who knows how to navigate this earth plane with a higher strand of DNA activated. And this activation process that is happening in different rates. So for some people it happens earlier, so that these people can be acting as guides for others who are going through the process afterwards. But in the end, we're all meant to crystallize our DNA. We're all meant to embody this higher this multidimensional being of ourselves. But some beings come into realms as crystal children, as guides, so that they can be, let's say, showing the path, or forging the path for the civilization, for the whole of humanity to follow. And I'm being told you're one of them. You're one of these crystal children who has been living in Atlantean times and is able to bring in these codes that allow us to activate our DNA. And there is really this big emphasis of remembering the crystalline cities of Atlantis, remembering these pure frequencies, because we hold all these gems within our DNA. We don't have to add anything new, but with all these light codes that are streaming in, with these intense, sometimes really, really intense activation codes and solar flares and all of that, it's basically triggering the unfoldment of these pockets of information. And again, this happens earlier for some people, so that you can act as a guide, so that you can act as this space holder for this process, so that you can know how to guide people through this awakening process, which is incredibly intense at times. It can be very, even physically painful, because when children grow, for example, when the bones grow, then it's hurting, or when the teeth grow, then they're crying. It's like it's physically painful sometimes. And it's really about navigating through these shifts, navigating through this gently, because I'm being made to feel that you're done, we are done for this job, and we know how to handle it. And the universe would never give us a job that we're not able to handle. So even if the energies are intense, even if sometimes it feels like we are literally imploding and then exploding, because there is this expansion of not just our consciousness, but literally of our brain cells, and of everything is raising its frequency, everything is becoming more light and more crystalline. And yes, I'm really being made to feel that you are one of the leaders in this field, in this crystallization of DNA, of bringing in the ancient blueprint of creation. And again, I'm being taken back to the Atlantean times, where it has been like this, where people have had these activated light strands, but then after the great deluge, after the fall of Atlantis, there was a genetic manipulation where the strands have been, I wouldn't say deactivated, because they're still there, the potential for them is still there, but it's almost from after the Great Flood we started operating with 2 strands of DNA instead of 12 or even more. But what happened is not that these light codes were taken away from us, or I don't know, changed in a way that it's completely different. It's almost like going into a library and pushing down all the shelves and all the book and piling all the books, gathering them in the center. And yeah, now it's this whole mess full of books, and we cannot find where it's hard for us to trace it back where it comes from. It's hard for us to put them into a category or to compartmentalize them. So what we are doing in this healing process and in this activation process is actually looking at this huge pile of light codes, and what we are doing is we are ordering it one by one, putting it in order again. And once the order is there again, we can see the pattern, we can trace it back to its origin, and we can remember our multidimensionality, we can remember our gifts. And that's why we're talking about finding the pieces of a puzzle. Because yeah, maybe we start with one pile of books and then we continue with the other, and then as soon as there is this one single piece completing the whole thing, then we are rising to a better understanding. So that's why it's a slow process of adding things, and then maybe we fall back into doing more shadow work, and then we come back to this activation process again. It's this ordering of light codes and allowing the light to flow through it unobstructedly. And this is what is allowing this crystalline DNA to unfold and to be activated, because yeah, all the light codes, all the wisdom is already within ourselves. That's why all the past lifetimes, all the memories, all the wisdom we have acquired is literally physically stored in our DNA. And this activation process is piling the books, ordering them so that we can trace them back and perhaps even remember these past lifetimes. I remember many of my past lifetimes in Atlantean times, in Lemurian times, even on other planets, because I have done this work of tracing back that information to where it comes from. Like, there were some missing pieces. I've always had these remembrances, and obviously when I was a child I didn't know much about what Atlantis was. I first needed to add new pieces to the puzzle so that I could gain a larger understanding of what was going on. But that's basically what it is with this ascension process. Like, we already have visions as children, for example. We already have these mystical experiences when we were younger, perhaps. But what's happening when we grow older? We are adding this puzzle piece that allows us to understand this situation and almost close the circle. So that's why I'm also being made to feel that there are many aha moments taking place in your life when you connect with the frequency of Atlantis, or when you start to remember your lifetimes in Atlantis, to remember these times where the DNA was much more activated and where having magical abilities and creating magic, it was the norm. And you're here to bring in this frequency again, like a pure, very, very pure crystalline being on a soul level. And I'm pretty much being made to feel this is the color of your aura. There is this, yes, a bit of purple coming through, but it's more so leaning towards white crystalline than these hints of blue and emerald green. There is really this more, you are very strong in your higher chakras. That's what I want to say, because part of your mission is here to channel these higher dimensional codes and these higher dimensional frequencies, because again, with this work you're paving the way for a whole civilization with a crystalline DNA. And your contribution matters so much, because in order for that to happen, there are many crystals, there are many crystal children, many beings on the same path, but only you hold your unique crystal, and your piece is just as important as all the other pieces, and your piece allows this whole puzzle to be completed, because without your piece the puzzle is not written yet, or you're not able to trace back the origins of where we come from. And this is why I am so, as a healing practitioner, I'm so adamant about telling my clients that healing goes beyond what we perceive in this waking state. Like, healing is a multi-dimensional process. Healing has to do with lifetimes before even incarnating on earth. It has to do with the stories that went on in the stars. It has to do with our soul's origins. And that's why I say that the only true healing is spiritual healing. because we have to look at this multidimensional perspective of it. Like, we cannot just look at it from the physical perspective or from one perspective. There needs to be a holistic perspective if we really want to heal at our core. And we can only heal at our core and unlock this crystalline DNA when we are able to tap into these energies and channel them and ground them into this earth plane. And that's why one of your main missions also as a crystal child is to be a channel, to bring through information and to allow other people to awaken to their soul memories, so that we all can add our unique puzzle to the whole picture. What a beautiful energy, I love it. Removing falsehood, yes. And by doing that work, you're also letting go of all you're contributing in healing. That's why I say healing is a multidimensional process that does not only have to do with ourselves personally, but it's this process that is interconnected. And yeah, it has to do with the human collective, with Earth, but with the entire universe and with creation itself. So no pressure here. But yeah, we're all contributing to this big healing that is creation, that is experience, that is, yeah, but anyway, coming back to removing falsehood, it's about knowing that with this work that you're doing, you're also contributing in releasing deception, in healing the history of history, or the history of Earth, to heal all these false narratives, everything, when people have been demonizing spirituality, to release all these patterns, to basically bring in this pure energy, bring in this wisdom, bring in these light codes, and thus removing deception. And by removing that deception, allowing people to remember, allowing every person to connect back to our origins, not just from Atlantis, but from the stars and from where we come from as souls. And yeah, you literally are a seer, a channel, and yeah, beautiful energy. I'm feeling drawn to pull the cards, and I have already shuffled. Okay, so we have the Emperor, beautiful. We already had this in the pile before. So there's definitely a big emphasis on taking the lead. We have the Seven of Wands, Hanged Man, and it's starting to rain, hopefully not too strongly, but we see where this is going. Then we have the Devil in reversed. Then we have Judgment, also reversed. Then we have the Seven of Scepters. We have the Five of Pentacles. And we have the Queen of Swords. Beautiful. Yes, definitely, as I'm looking at the Emperor, I'm really being taken to this lamp, and it's really about getting out of this energy of the sacrificial lamp and into the energy of the Emperor, because I'm being told that you have already done the job, you have already been in this position, you have already gone through, let's say, the darker periods, you've already experienced what it feels to be this sacrificial lamp energy, and right now it's about wearing your crown again. Now it's the time to literally embody this energy of the Emperor again, because I'm really being made to feel also with the Judgment card that for some reason I'm being taken to your spirit guides. So I'm also being made to feel that you're acting as spirit guides, literally. So again, remembering our multidimensionality, knowing that we don't only operate in this dimension, but we also operate on a multidimensional level. And it's very important for you, especially right now in your mission, to know that you're already contributing to your mission without necessarily taking the lead, without necessarily taking that wand and being the emperor in the way that you are taking physical actions in the physical realm. But I'm also being told that you are doing your job or your mission, but as a spirit guide for other people, or in the higher realms, in the behind the veil. That's what I want to say. Like, so much of your mission, part of what you're doing, has to do with work behind the veil. And a lot of it happens behind the veil, and a lot of it, yeah, it's almost this feeling of knowing that there is so much going on behind the scenes before this empire is being created. And you knowing that it's now time to step out of this energy and into this energy of the emperor. And right now I'm really strongly being taken to a dream that I had from I don't know how long ago. So we might either connect in dream, there is either a connection between us in dream time, or we already know each other in the ethers. Maybe that's one of the reasons why you have been called to this reading. But it's really about knowing that you are building your empire, but the work of it is happening behind the scenes, most of the work, because a lot of it has to do with finding connections, calling in certain people, calling in your soul tribe, almost calling in situations and circumstances that allow you to receive that one piece, that one missing piece that allows you to complete the whole picture. So that's why I feel it's so important to talk about our process, about our healing process, to talk about our soul's history, who we really are, not our persona, not our ego, not our human self, but who we are on a soul level. Because when we are able to have this exchange, this conversation on this level, then we can exchange these bits, these crystals that are allowing our DNA to be activated. By simply having a conversation or simply looking at one reading, you could literally have received this one single piece that allows you to activate, or allows you to see the whole picture, to see the whole, to finally find that missing puzzle piece. And there is a big emphasis on that, a big emphasis of being in this state where a lot of aha moments are coming in, a lot of full circle moments are coming in, this feeling of literally looking at the things completely upside down in a completely new way, and actually seeing the rightness of this, like finding peace in chaos, finding the pattern in chaos, finding the order in this pile of light codes. And that's why there is again this feeling of you activating light codes, of you literally making order in this pile of light codes, so that you can crystallize your DNA, and all this wisdom can be channeled through, and you can remember who you are, where you came from, remembering your mission. And then when we understand where we come from, we understand who we are, and thus we understand where we are going, or we have a better roadmap or of where it is that we are going. And looking at the 7 of Scepters, I'm really being taken to the energy of a raw diamond, the energy of things not defined yet, almost being in this potential state before a planet is solidified and crystallized. This feeling, oh, I just noticed we have the 7 of Wands twice. The energy that is coming through is that right now you are almost in this state where a flower has newly bloomed. A flower has newly come out of its shell, and it's still fragile. It still needs some care, it still needs some tending, because I'm being made to feel that with these aha moments, with these realizations happening, or that have been happening, that are about to happen, or you're in the process of it, with these aha moments, it's almost like a new flower has been blossomed, a new self has emerged, but there is almost this feeling of needing to protect this flower before it's able to show its full glory, its full bloom. That's why there is this feeling of things are not yet solidified, like the new planet has been birthed, but there is almost this feeling like the landscape is still volcanic, it's still in motion, and it still needs to be solidified and crystallized. And that's why I'm almost being made to feel that there is a lot of work happening on the other side, a lot of things woven in behind the scenes, and they are soon going to take effect in the physical world, like almost the wave of causality, the wave of potential in this causal spirit realm that is slowly taking crystallized form in the physical realm. And it has already been, but it's almost like this newly bloomed flower that is about to be fully anchored. So there is a feeling of you're right now being anchored in a new reality that allows you to see things from a completely new perspective, where even if you're hanging down, even if things might seem upside down, you're still able to hold your ground. You're still able to be connected to the truth that the sun is always rising. You're always connected to that purity that comes with being a crystal child. Because to be able to crystallize our DNA, yes, we have to be pure. Yes, we have to bring in these higher dimensional angelic light codes, but we have to be super strong at the same time, because we have to understand what it means to be in darkness, to be in shadow. Because we cannot only hyper focus on the light, we cannot only bring in the angelic frequencies without knowing what it means to be in pain or in darkness, or without having the empathy of what it really means to be in a dark place. Or we almost have to face the demons, our demons, to face the devil in order to know how to overcome it, or how to beat it down, or to transcend it, no longer being in the duality. And it happens internally. So I'm not so feeling that you are holding back from doing that release, but since it's in reverse, it's more so referring to your inner environment, like you literally almost almost being dipped into the darkness. So you have a coating, so it's almost I'm seeing this ice cream being put into chocolate. So you have a hard coating, a hard shell, and you know what it means to be covered, or you know what it means to experience this darkness. You know what it means to be in a shell where you're not fully allowing yourself to shine, but it's almost this layer of chocolate, this layer of you transmuting shadows is what is adding to your flavor. It's what's making you complete. It's what's adding, it's what's making you your unique ice cream, your unique being that you are, your unique expression. And that's why it's so important to know that almost there is this very playful energy coming through, always with this crystal child, this very wise energy, but super gentle and playful at the same time, where you're almost looking at these shadows like, oh yeah, I've mastered that, oh yeah, I've been through that, and look at me now I'm this beautiful chocolate coated magnum. And I am so much richer than, not that I've been before, but yes, you're adding a new layer, and this is enriching for your soul, this is enriching for the people in your community, in your surroundings, and this is exactly allowing you to step into this pure energy of the Queen of Swords. If you've come from this reading from a few days ago, or the one before with the Queen of Swords, it's again this energy of getting out of the darker aspect of the Queen of Swords, where it's the truth that sometimes hurts, or it's the truth that is sometimes a bit harsh, but really embodying the Queen of Swords, but with the energy of a crystal child. Yes, being the spiritual warrior. Yes, really removing falsehood. Letting go of the deceptions, or I'm looking for a word, system busters, exposing the darkness, exposing the lies, exposing the manipulation, but it's being done in a very, very sassy, fancy, super pure and gentle, playful way. And it's really about embodying the light attributes of the Queen of Swords. And this is what is truly allowing you to unleash your magic and to move forward with this beautiful mission. And as I'm saying this, there is the sky is lightening up and I'm seeing patches of blue. So yes, you're literally removing the clouds. You're removing all these toxic gases produced by the illusions of the devil, and you are showing the way through these clouds with the clarity of your sword, with the clarity of your intellect, your intuition, your sharp mind, your intelligence. You're a highly intelligent person, and it's good to be maybe a mental person or a scientific approach person, or like, doesn't matter which you resonate with most, if you are a creative person or if you are more an analytical person. Exactly the energy that you are embodying is helping you to cut through the clouds, which are distortions, which are the domain of the devil, which are things that are not true. It's just this fog, this filter of distortion. And what you're doing is to remove this filter of distortion, is to literally build new patterns, to build a new, I wanted to say matrix, but yeah, and it's in a way a new matrix, a new web of experiences in this realm. But it happens by creating new patterns in our DNA. It happens by, with this card I'm always being taken to the Pleiades and the Hathors. So there is a feeling of activating your DNA through sound, through light language, channeling light language, healing frequencies, connecting with maybe like resonating chambers, or experimenting with alternative healing modalities, and literally with that work creating new patterns, building a new DNA helix that is activated, where more strands are being activated. And we talk about the 12 strands activation. Obviously there are more strands, but I personally feel it's important to first focus on fully activating the 12 strands and then looking to activate beyond. Because obviously we first need to learn how to fly before we learn to do loopings and whatever. So that's why I feel it's so important to focus on the 12 strand DNA activation, mastering that, and then moving beyond. Because if we start with the 46 activation already, I feel it's too much. It's like we first need to have the grounding, we first need to have things solidified before we can move on it with the next level. And what is the 12 strand DNA activation? It's tuning into 12th dimensional consciousness. It's mastering all the 12 signs of the zodiac, mastering all the attributes of the 12 zodiac signs, like also the 12 cranial nerves. And 12 is a number of mastery, a number of completion, and it's really about gaining that mastery first before we look on doing other things. But this is just more so coming through as a reminder of how the activated strands are in correlation with our ability to tap into multidimensional consciousness, and knowing that there is a direct relation with that, and knowing that the more we activate, the more light we channel into our being, the more access we have into higher dimensions, and the more we can allow these frequencies to be grounded into the earth, and allow everyone in this garden to embody that frequency. And this is exactly what you're doing, showing the way through your sword, literally grounding your wisdom into the earth in no matter way feels most aligned with you. But before I continue, I'm feeling called to pull some oracle cards, and we are channeling memories from Atlantis that are helping us in our present moment right now. Okay, yes, that was loud and clear. So we have Lemurian Guide, beautiful. Then we have Star Connection, absolutely strong energy. I've been feeling a strong star connection in this pile. Then we have Arise, ooh, beautiful. And see how it's always a face, and I'm being made to feel it's almost the same person, but the same person incarnating with the same essence over and over again, but the only thing that changes is the environment around it. And this is exactly how we gain mastery, because we never let go of our essence. We never let go of our true being. The only thing that changes is maybe the incarnation, or the layer, or the coating on top, or the environment around us. But our essence is always the same. So no matter in how much darkness we're being dipped in, no matter how dark this coating layer is, we are still always connected with that purity that lies within our heart. No matter how many incarnations we have been living on earth, forgetting about our star connections, all these star connections are still there. All our ancestors are still there. They are not lost. All these light codes are still in our DNA. They have not been removed. Everything that's happening is simply a remembering. And this remembering is a recollecting, a reordering, and a re-emerging of what has been there already. But again, by doing that, by re-emerging with that purity, we are automatically changing the environment. So even if we swim into different roles, into different incarnations, into different timelines, we're still, nothing can affect our purity. That's what I wanted to say. And with the last card we have portals. Ooh, love it. Doorway into the now, letting go of the warrior. That's exactly what I've been feeling. Literally, you knowing that you are a portal between the higher dimensions and this dimension. And this is actually one of the main intention of us human beings or spiritual beings here on earth, because the intention of Lemuria at the beginning was, of course, to seed this planet. Before it was crystallized, everything was much more ethereal, everything was much more not yet condensed. And the beings in Lemuria, they were spirit beings, but they were in charge of dreaming plants into creation. They were in charge of literally seeding the codes from the higher dimensions, from the stars, into this earth. So we were the gardeners. We have been creating this whole environment. And then we have chosen to go through this period of forgetfulness. We have created the garden, but then we have forgotten about our star connections. We have forgotten about where we come from, because we wanted to learn. We wanted to gain mastery. We wanted to put on this coating, but again, always knowing that by putting on this coating of shadow and darkness, it's only enriching for ourselves, because again, our purity remains unaffected. Nothing can take away that purity from us, no matter how much darkness we are faced with and how much pain we go through. Our heart is always pristine. And the invitation here is to rise with that purity. Almost this, really this feeling of a new flower has been born. Here it has just been born, but you're about to cross the threshold into the full blooming of it. Right now it's still a bit fragile, it's still not condensed yet, but you're slowly starting to ground more of this multidimensionality into your being. And this is an intense process, and I feel you, I'm also in there. And sometimes it hurts, and sometimes I'm in my bed and I have to breathe deeply, and it's very overwhelming because it's so much, like literally grounding in so much of these high dimensional light codes, and sometimes I'm really feeling like my body is exploding. But we are here to hold space for each other, and that's why it's so important to talk about our process, not to be ashamed about which things we're going through, or if we are feeling not so positive emotions. It's so important to always share them, because what is happening is we are moving into this more heart-based society where we are allowed to be vulnerable, where it's okay to show our true feelings, it's okay to talk about our true interests. I've also gone through a very long time in my life where I didn't talk about all these things about magic and spirituality out of the fear of how I'm going to be perceived. But to be very honest, I don't care a single bit how the things that I'm sharing are being perceived. Obviously, I am very grateful and very honored if I'm able to inspire people. But I don't care if people think this is crazy, or if people don't understand it, or if if it's being almost put in the trash, like it sometimes is being done, like almost like being ridiculed or being yeah, I feel you know what I want to say, but it's about bringing in that purity anyway. It's about embodying that anyway, and the people who are meant to be listening, they will be listening. The people who are vibrating on that frequency, they will understand you. And those who don't, it's okay, it doesn't matter. The focus is on something else. So we should not fear about expressing our true self. We should never hold ourselves back from shining fully, from being in that pure essence, because yes, that's who we are, and we are here to be ourselves, to be this portal, to channel these higher vibrational energies, to connect with our star ancestors, and to literally bring heaven on earth. And if someone is triggered or irritated by that, that's not your fault. You're here to bring in that purity and to rise in that purity, to literally arise as this being, but with new circumstances, because again, you have a new shell, you have a new environment, but you're still bringing in this purity from the ancient times. And that's why the Lemurian guide is coming through, remembering who you are on a soul level, remembering the times of Lemuria, remembering the times of Atlantis. And we are here to bring this back, to literally act as a portal to birth and ground a heart-centered society where we can be open-hearted, and where we don't have to close our heart in order to feel safe, where we don't have to hide in order to be seen for someone who we are not. We can shine in our fullness, we can open our heart, we can allow ourselves to be seen, because the circumstances are changing. The energetics have already shifted, like we are in a completely new vibration. And before I finish, I'm feeling called to pull some more cards, because I feel there's one last message. Oops. Okay. And oh, love it. We have the Mate. We have the Tiger with 11, beautiful. And we have the deer. Is it a deer? I think a deer is the baby version of it, but yeah, it's a deer. A stack, that's the word. It's a stack. So yeah, with this one, I'm really being made to feel this energy of providing water for your tribe, providing that compassion, that essence, that soul essence, like you remembering the pristine times of living in higher dimensions, of living in Lemuria, and bringing in this compassion. Because when we radiate that compassion, when this is the energy that we are embodying and giving and putting into the collective, then this is what is being reflected back. So the biggest mission is not healing the collective, is not inspiring others, but literally doing the work for ourselves, crystallizing our own DNA, because when we do that work, automatically we are inspiring and helping the whole environment to do the same. So it's literally about you providing your uniqueness, you providing that purity, and this is what is nourishing the tribe, the whole collective. It's really about, yes, that's what it is. I love that we have the tiger here in conjunction with the arise. As soon as you're stabilized in this energy, and I'm really being made to feel, take time out right now, take time to connect with water, be gentle with yourself, know that there is a high influx of information and light codes coming in, but as soon as this energy is stabilized, you are embodying the energy of a tiger. But a tiger is not always fierce. It's also, yeah, they can be super cuddly, they are super majestic, but they can be super sweet at the same time. And with 11, it's again this mastering the spiritual realms. And they are the lions, the tigers, they are almost the kings of the jungle. So it's knowing that you are the creator of the jungle. You have designed the whole jungle from a higher dimensional perspective in Lemurian times. You have been coding the waters, you have been creating the patterns, and you have been literally designing this whole jungle. And now you put yourself in this jungle as a tiger. You're creating your own habitat. You are you are understanding the mastery between spirit and this realm, like you're gaining mastery over being, over being incarnated, being a soul in a human vessel, between being a spirit in. There is this feeling of you are letting go of the veils, like it's almost, there is no clear distinction between the realms, but it's almost starting to be more fluid. Everything is more fluid, everything is more, you're understanding who you are, and you are understanding your place as a tiger in this jungle that has been created by you, and now you are this king in this jungle that you have created yourself. And this is mastery, like you understanding that you are the jungle, but you're also the tiger. You are the designer of the jungle, but also the designer of the tiger. And you exist in so many other jungles that are outside of this dimension. And this is how we arise, by expanding the understanding of who we are, by literally being this portal to channel this frequency through. And there is really something about synchronicity, because recently the stack is a synchronicity for me, and we also have the 11. So I'm really being made to feel that right now there are many synchronicities in your life, many synchronicities allowing you to move into this next phase where the flower is fully bloomed, where new soulmate connections are coming in, where it's a completely new circumstance, it's a completely new environment that is bringing in exactly this energy, like this, like look at the cards, it's your essence, but always changing, always trying on new roles, but still staying true to your essence, and other people finally being able to see that essence, know and flow as the love as you are. That's exactly what it is to be in flow, to be in this blissful state. But the circumstances have changed, the vibration has changed, and the biggest message, since this is a reading about memories of Atlantis, to remember that we already have been there, and all of this is within ourselves. We have the whole blueprint just waiting to be ordered. And that's why it's so important there is this emphasis on community, because when we are in community, when we talk with like-minded individuals, then we are adding a new puzzle piece. That's why maybe we meet people who we have been connected to in a past lifetime, and this encounter is then triggering the remembrance of that lifetime, and it's like always adding new, like basically we just have to follow our heart and everything is laid out for us. Like these times it's over, like we just have had to go through these experiences to understand the shadow, but now that we have learned the lesson, now that we have integrated the lesson, there is no need to repeat it anymore. Like there is literally, we are paving the way for heaven on earth, for this ancient frequency to be brought back, and it happens by us listening to our synchronicities and knowing that we are portals to bring in this reality, because we have already done that in ancient times. And what a beautiful energy. I absolutely love this reading. It's a very gentle energy that has been coming throughout all the readings, and I'm really being made to feel that I'm so inspired to connect with people, to connect with exactly what I've been talking about, like-minded individuals, because we have codes for each other. We are literally exchanging these activation codes, and it's so important to talk about our true self, who we truly are, without fear of how we are being received, or the people who need to listen, they will listen. That's also a big message coming through. But I hope you resonated with the messages, and please let me know in the comments if you did. And I'm also offering personal readings, so if you would like to have a personal reading, you can always reach out to me. And I hope you have a beautiful day, night, evening, whenever you're watching, and I really hope to see you in the next reading. Thanks so much for watching.